Hey everyone, Kyle once again. Welcome back to another movie review and back on the Land Before Time franchise. And now moving on to entry number 7. Now, the Land Before Time, The Stone of Cold Fire. And then again, this is the 7th entry in the series, and this was released in the directed video in December year 2000. Charles Grosvenor returns on directing. Voice casting, the voice cast comes back as well. Now this is what like I said, I enjoy all the Land Before Time films, and like I said, the only thing my favorites that I consider the best is the first all the way up to number 6. I just say it just because I would consider those my favorites are the best, and also, but I still enjoy the rest of the films, and I still enjoy. So from 7 all the way up to number 13, I still enjoy all of them. So doesn't mean I like them the least bit. So, but just want to say that. So number 7, The Stone of Cold Fire. IMDb has a 5.8 IMDb for this one, and Rotten Tomatoes, according to the audience, it has a 45% Rotten Tomatoes. By the way, it's coffee, by the way. This time. Drinking this time, just coffee. So, getting into the, moving quick into the story now. So it opens up, that Petrie trying to tell a small story, but like before all dinosaurs existed, there was one species that came first, and that was the flyers, and Sarah said that's not happened, but he said that Petrie says he learned the story from his uncle Toronto, who was another flyer, which is his mother's brother. So and then one night when Lothar was asleep, he sees something coming, and it's a meteor, but this time it's a blue meteor. Instead of fiery, the yellow or red meteors that come out, this one was blue. You see it fly off all into the distance. And he tells the next day he tells everybody what he saw. And nobody believes him. But then there was these two, which they call them rainbow faces. That before that night there was another herd called Wanderers, they're just another wandering herd, and so the Templar are temporarily staying there, and then the next day the two what they call rainbow faces, they tell us saying, they said that maybe it was just a non-ordinary meteor, maybe it was to say they suggested it maybe they called it the Stone of Cold Fire, And they said that the Stone of Cold Fire, it possesses like magical powers, and they said that because of all they this is where they said that like I said, I had to rewatch this because I haven't watched this. I haven't watched the others the most, but I watched the first 6 the most, though, but these ones I rewatched. And they also said where they were talking, or the saying that they were also talking about like what else is beyond the mysterious beyond, not just the mysterious beyond. There has to be something like that's beyond, They start singing the song called "Beyond the Mysterious Beyond," So, and when they were talking, when the kids are discussing when they're is there ever such thing as a stone of cold fire, then Petrie's uncle Toronto comes in, and which his uncle Toronto, which is that Petrie idolized, says they tell many great stories, but all the others they were not fond. They said that he didn't look like a nice person, like an untrustworthy guy, until the 2 other flyers that he's with comes in, but Littlefoot goes and tells the grandparents that he's there, and that, he's nothing but, he tells them that he's nothing but trouble. That you have good instincts. You should trust them. It was what his grandfather was telling him, that he did something awful that happened before him. That's why he was banished. And sooner or later, that like the next day when Petrie tells him that he wants before that that Uncle Toronto said that he should ask Petrie to tell Littlefoot where the stone landed, because he's the only one who saw where it landed, So he tells him, like, oh, we're asking, but Sarah says no. Even Littlefoot says he doesn't look like a good guy, and Petrie gets all upset and hurt over it, and then the next night, when Ducky unable to sleep because she feels bad about Petrie, so he wants to go over there and apologize, but then he overhears Uncle Toronto and his two goons, which one of them is voiced by the other the light brown one that's with them is voiced by Jim Cummings, voiced Winnie the Pooh and some various other voices in TV shows, and films, But Ducky overhears them, and then they see her and they take her, to search for where it landed, So all the adults they gather around to say what to do, and they ask where they go tell them. Then Grandpa tells tells the children, what really happened with them, with Uncle Toronto, what happened, He tells them that, like, when all the grown-ups before they were searching, like, you could say before the first film, a flashback before the first film, you could say, like, but when the grown-ups were searching for the Great Valley, Uncle Toronto, he didn't want to be a part of the herd, he wanted to be the leader, and he takes, like, a small pack with him, to with them, try to find it, but then ends up they get a dead end and they get attacked by his pack gets attacked by some small pack of sharp teeth, I think it was like Velociraptors or Deinonychus, I forget, and he couldn't bear what he was seeing, so he goes and you could say off screen, I guess they got killed, you could say though, and he couldn't bear what he saw when he done, and he goes and flies away. And then when the other girls saw him return, they never saw the others again, so that's why they banished him, And so they Littlefoot tells them where the meteor landed, but they still hasn't gone yet, so they decided to go themselves to find and search for it, And while Ducky is with the flowers, they temporarily pour it down, and she tries to escape, when she falls in this hole, And Uncle Toronto, he feels bad losing her, and he says, I was responsible for her, and if he feels bad about it, Pardon me. And then the others they climb on these vines, and Spike, of course, sees a flower, starts taking a bite of it. Of course, takes a bite of the vine, and then them swing into this cave, and then they find Ducky, but then next she gets abducted again. But then but this time she bites the flower that's voiced by Jim Cummings, and she falls into the river, And they try to make try to throw those the vines that Spike was tangled up with, and they try to use that to save her, And Littlefoot's on the log, tries to grab her, which he does, and Spike and Sarah, they're pulling on the ends on the land, but they get dragged in, and now they're getting hang up down river, which Spike and Sarah, they're kind of like water skiing, they're sliding on these I would say pieces of bark, I would think, and they're sliding down the river, holding onto the vines, kind of like water skiing, But then they have gained finding into they get inside. They're inside. What was it called? called the Three-Horn Peak, I think it was called, because the shit was shaped like a three-horn, you know, the top of the mountains. That's where the Smoky Mountains are, you know. And they said they wish they're hungry, wish they have some food, but later they mysteriously get green food, and they see the person who gave not people, but they see who gave them the food, and it's the Rainbow Faces, you know. They've been following them, you know. It's like how they get here, you know, and why do they know so much about everything, you know. And they tell them, and they can get to the top where they put a rock in. They both stand on it while the heat up from the water builds up, and they shoot them up, you know, like a geyser, you know. And once they do, they get up there. They see where they finally find the meter. Pardon me. They find the stone, and then Uncle Tron and the two others, they get there, and he says he'll use its magic, you know, to build a new paradise, you know. As he touches it, nothing happens, you know, and he gets tossed aside while the two others start banging on the rock, you know, wanting the magic, you know, and then Then Petrie's mother and another flyer come in, and it's a huge one, and Sarah's like, that is one big flyer, you know. Then the ground starts to shake again. Ducky's hanging off the edge, and Toronto's looking at seeing what will happen because one fell part of his pack, you know, and they're showing the flashback. One fell off a cliff, you know, and he's living through that again. But this time he goes in and dives in and saves Ducky, you know. And the rest of the all carry the children. They all fly away, you know, while the lava starts pouring through it, causing an explosion, while seeing the other two guys flying, you know, off to a siding. And then when they get back to the Great Valley, you know, that's it. But they get back to the Great Valley, and then Grandpa Longneck, you know, tells them, you know, that's what you did is inexcusable, but after saving the children, you know, his punishment has been reduced, so he's going to be banished to the mysterious beyond for for the next 5 cold times, you know. And Petrie's really upset. Petrie's upset, you know. He doesn't want him to leave, you know. Says he's sorry and everything like that, you know. But Uncle Toronto says it's okay, you know. I will miss you, but he has to own up for he owns up what he has done, you know. And he says he'll be all right, but someday he will come back and join the herd, you know. And of course, Sarah's father, Mr. Three-Horn, goes and scares him off, you know, and he goes and says, on the other hand, there are some that I will not miss, you know. And it goes to shows that, you know, he wasn't an all bad guy, which Ducky said, you know, he has good in him, you know. And then that night, you know, when the two Lufa sees the two rainbow faces, you know, says, how did you know all this, you know, and you know, and when they start singing that song again, they tells him, look, what's that, you know, when he turns his back, you know, he turns around and he sees where they were standing as a light, you know, and that goes off into the sky, which means they're thinking they're like extraterrestrials or something, like they're extraterrestrials, you know, because they see them where their lights and they go fly off into space, you know. And then when the others saying, what happened, you know, why don't you tell us? And he goes and says what they said, you know, it's not that would be telling, wouldn't it, you know? And then the rest of us walk off. So that's the end. So yeah, I enjoy this one. I enjoyed the Part 7, the Stone of Cold Fire. Hope you enjoy it. I'm going to cut it here. This is the end of the review. Let's get into it. So, hope you enjoyed it. That's my review for Land Before Time Part 7, the Stone of Cold Fire. Hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. So, thanks for watching. Take care. Stay tuned for the next entry in the series.